Jay here for Stretford, Paddock. This is Agree or Disagree, where we have a debate, we give topics and we decide whether we agree with the statement I'm making or we disagree. Joining me as always is Lauren. How are we doing?
Good, thanks for having me again now, I'm back. We're finally.
Bit more enthusiasm, you know what I mean? We'll go amiss. Okay. Sorry we've dragged you there.
I'm so happy I'm here.
That's a bit more like it, thank you. We've also got Chelsea. How are we doing, Chelsea?
I am so excited to be here.
Yeah.
So excited. Happiest I've ever been.
All right, don't overdo it. We've also got Mr. Joe Smith. How are we doing?
Hello, ready to get into it.
Yeah.
See, that's how it's done.
There we go.
Look and learn.
Not too much, not too
Amorim
little.
versus Slot.
This isn't just us four that are going to be chatting and arguing and debating. It's also you guys, so make sure you are getting involved in the chat and the comment. If you're not doing already, hit that like button as well as subscribing to the channel. I want to get to 800,000 subscribers. With your support, we will get there. Right, we know, yeah, there's no point in hiding it or pretending it's not happening. We've turned into Ruben Amorim TV over the last 2 weeks. I'm not gonna lie, it's international break. So there's not a lot happening other than the fact Manchester United have got a new manager. So we've been talking about that a lot. So a lot of what we're going to be discussing does focus around Ruben Amorim. The first statement I'm going to make, because this has been a stick that's kind of been used to beat those of us who are getting carried away with Ruben Amorim's appointment. Ten Hag has a better CV than Amorim.
Ten Hag does?
Yeah.
He does. He just does, doesn't he?
Not really.
Oh, go on then, Jay. Start us off then, Jay. Why doesn't
Controversy
he?
starts.
Surely he does. Look what he's won.
Your CV, doesn't just start and end at Ajax. It also continues into his time at Manchester United if you're Erik ten Hag.
2 trophies, 2 seasons.
Yeah, we know that, but there's also a lot of blemishes on that CV towards the end of his time at Manchester United. Now, I like ten Hag, and I was defending him and sticking up for him and backing him right up until the Spurs game, and I did myself a massive favour by going on Football Focus and praising him before the Spurs game and saying how we need to get behind this man, and then by the end of that game I was saying he needed to go.
Yeah.
Which thankfully no one clips up and rammed down my throat.
There's still time.
Yeah. Oh, they did, don't worry. Don't worry. But he had a lot of difficulties towards like the last 18 months. Yes, we won the FA Cup. It was a fantastic day. Loved that. But we also finished 8th, lost a lot of games, had some really, really bad results. And then going into this season as well, a proper failure. And I don't think Ruben Amorim's had that on his CV. And I think that the highs from Erik ten Hag have probably been a bit more frequent. Is it 3 titles in 4 years and only didn't win 1 title because of COVID at Ajax? I think he was top of the league when COVID hit. Obviously, getting to a Champions League semi-final is a better achievement that Ruben Amorim has done in Europe, and he's won more. But Ruben Amorim has pretty much been, barring one season, I think, when he first won the league, the following season wasn't great, when he lost a lot of players, to be fair. But he's had a pretty successful career without any real blemishes on it, without any real points where you're going, what is he doing? Who is this guy? He's got to go. And it feels like for a long time Erik ten Hag had that. So whilst I think it's close, I do think that Erik ten Hag's CV or the lustre that he had has been dimmed somewhat because of the league performances in particular this season and last season. I think that's tainted his CV. And I think that he's going to suffer with what all Manchester United managers suffer with. He's almost got to have career rehabilitation when he leaves. Because it happens to every United manager other than Sir Alex Ferguson. Every manager post-Fergie has sort of come to United, been sacked, and then had to go somewhere to try and get the career going again.
Rebuild, yeah.
With mixed results. So that's why I'm arguing that. Not because I don't think that ten Hag's got a good CV. You obviously think ten Hag's CV is better. That's my case. What's yours?
I mean, ten Hag has had the unfortunate experience of having to manage Man United, which Amorim hasn't had to do yet. Yeah. So the 2 years he was here are a better or as good a 2 years CV-wise as, in terms of trophies as anyone's had in the last decade. I think he won big trophy, or the FA Cup's a big trophy. It's not the biggest, but it's good. Bigger than any trophy that sort of Jose won. I think ten Hag's probably got the best CV of any United manager post Sir Alex. What he did at Ajax, I think, was probably just edges what Amorim's done at Sporting. I know he had to overcome less, but Ajax hadn't won the league in sort of 4 years, which isn't loads, but it's he still won it every year he was there. Yeah. He got to the semi-final of the Champions League. I value highs and peaks higher than not having any lows, if you know what I mean. I agree with you, Jay. Amorim's, it's been more here, but I think Ten Hag has been here and here and maybe, and then now he's down here, but he's had these amazing highs, beating Real Madrid, beating Juventus, getting to the Champions League semi-final, winning the FA Cup against Man City, winning the Carabao in his first season, finishing third as well. I think overall, and I'm not saying he should still be here or that I don't like Amorim, I think Ten Hag's CV has more on it and has more highs and has done it in different leagues and won trophies with Man United when we hadn't won any trophies in 6 years either, let's not forget that. So I think personally Ten Hag edges it, but we'll wait and see in a couple of years, see what Amorim can stick on there as well.
Just before I get your thoughts, Lauren, I'll just give you like the sort of the trophy tally, because Joe's right in terms of who's won the most. Erik ten Hag has. Ruben Amorim has won the Taça da Liga at Braga. He's only there for 13 games and he won a trophy. He's also won Sporting. He's won 2 titles. I think they were 3 years apart. He's won the Taça da Liga, which is their version of League Cup, twice, so that's 3 of them. And he's won the Super Taça, I think their version of the Super Cup. Erik ten Hag, obviously, at Ajax, he won 3 titles. Again, COVID probably stopped him from winning the 4th. You could argue that.
He won the only 3 that were available for him to win. He won all the ones he could.
Manchester United, he's won the FA Cup, runner-up in the FA Cup, also runner-up as well. He's won 2 Dutch Cups and lost the final. Won the FA Cup, lost the final, won the League Cup. So in terms of trophy, he's not a million miles away, to be fair, but it is better. There's no point in he's won more. Why do you think he's got the CV? Is it just more trophies? Is it the fact that he sort of basically dominated the Dutch league for 4 years? What's your thing? What's your thinking?
I think when you talk technically about a CV as well, for us, you put your school grades and where you've worked. If you look at what Ten Hag's won to what Amorim's won, it does look better on the CV. Because
you're only promoting the good stuff as well.
Yeah, you never
about getting sacked.
This is a LinkedIn post.
Exactly.
November 2024. You're out of work. That's not the end of a season.
I just wanted some time. I went travelling.
Yeah, exactly.
To Wilmslow.
I went from Manchester to Amsterdam.
Yeah.
I just think it looks better, and like you said, he's done it in different leagues as well. And the Premier League is seen as the hardest league. So for him to already been able to achieve that in what we think and have said isn't the greatest manager we've had since Fergie sometimes. So I think his just looks better overall, in my opinion. Fair
enough. Chelsea, what do you think? You agreed with these two?
Yes, I did, yeah. Again, I just think it's hard to compare because obviously Ten Hag has done it in England. He has won trophies in England. Amorim, we don't know what he's going to be like in England. We don't, hopefully, fingers crossed, he will be good in England and he will win the trophies in the leagues that we want him to. But he hasn't yet, and like Lauren said, looking at it literally, if you look at a CV literally, Ten Hag's will look more impressive. Hopefully that changes, but again, for now, I think that's probably the right way to look at it.
I think the chat more or less agrees with you guys. It's not a landslide. It's agree Ten Hag has a better CV than Amorim, 67. Disagree, 33. So it's sort of indicative of what we've said. You guys thinking he does.
Same ratio.
Pretty much the same ratio. Yeah. B. Hughes says it's the Champions League that stands out for Ten Hag. David Johnson says I backed him until the Spurs game spoiled my birthday. I'm sorry to swear that.
Because also, if you think, it's not like the Dutch league is inherently a lot higher quality than the Portuguese league. They're of a similar, Benfica and Ajax on any given season, one could be better than the other. So to do what he did with Ajax wouldn't have been much different for Sporting to have got to a semi-final in that time, and he hasn't managed that. So I think Amorim is a better fit for Man United. By the way, this isn't a diss at that, but what Ten Hag did with Ajax, I think, is slightly better than
It's mad because, like what you're saying, people are making almost similar arguments for both managers. Nomad Joe says, so far Ten Hag has a better CV than Amorim. Ten Hag won more trophies in 2 seasons than Spurs have won in nearly 2 decades. Donny Blackburn, sort of, I think he's coming from a different point of view. It's way harder to win the Portuguese title with Sporting than it is to win the Dutch league with Ajax. Sporting has Benfica and Porto. Sporting hadn't won a title for nearly 20 years. So there's counters to both of this. Isn't there? There's I don't think it's blindingly obvious. This isn't like Sir Alex Ferguson versus Ron Atkinson or whatever. This is it's a lot more closer, but I begrudgingly admit you guys might have a point.
What we got next?
Antony has a future under Ruben Amorim. Yeah, we all have a future, but I think you know what I mean when I say that. I don't mean he's just, he's going to carry on living. I mean, he's going to play a part at Manchester United under Ruben Amorim. I know your opinions already on this.
I don't know. I don't want it to be like a thing that I have to.
You've already
talk about all the time.
Planted your flag. I mean,
because I think he will, but I don't want it to be like, I think he's going to be his best player or something.
No.
Do you know what I mean? No,
I
think he could get. I think if he's willing to play wing back, I think he'll be good. Sorry for jumping in first there, but I just think he will. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Go on.
So tell us what you think, Joe.
I know. Sorry.
Well, so we'll go. You've obviously made your case there, Joe. Lauren, you agree? And I just want to make one thing clear. I know everyone goes on about the fact I hate on Antony. I don't hate. I want him to do well. I just don't think he's capable of performing at levels that I want, but I'll get into that in a minute. Go on, you tell us why you think he could have a future under Ruben Amorim.
I think the way I'm looking at it at the minute, it's a short-term future in a sense that Amorim will give him a chance.
Yeah.
He's not. I don't think he'll, because he needs to give every player in our squad a chance to prove themselves. And I think one thing that Antony has always done, and I'll always admire, he constantly tries his hardest. So I think he might not be the best, but he will give you 100% whenever he's on the pitch. So I think with a new manager, it might just give him a new lease of life and could give him a bit more confidence with someone else other than a manager he's already had as well. So he can get new ideas and be taught a few different things. So it could, I think at the minute, like I say, I think it's short term that he'll just give him a chance and he won't just be constantly benched, and that's his future at the minute. And then if it does work for him, then there's no way he can't continue. Where
does he fit in? Is he a starter? Is he a wing back? Is he one of the 10s? Where do you see him playing in this sort of 3-4-2-1?
I think a wing back's a good shout for him.
Yeah.
I don't know whether they'll do that straight away with him. I think he will just switch around where he normally plays and see how he goes there, and then if it's not worked. So yeah, I think they won't change anything yet.
Okay.
I don't think.
Before I get to you, Charles, I'll give you the reason I don't quite think he has. I think the fact that you've got Luke Shaw and Tyrone Malacia back in training, I think not far off. He might get a game against Ipswich, for example, but I don't think he's got much of a future. I think it's going to be either Luke Shaw, Tyrone Malacia, or Nusayr Mazraoui or Diogo Dalot. Maybe long term, he might even turn to a Harry Xmas. How old was Quenda? Was he 17 when he started playing him? Harry Xmas isn't, he's 17 and he might be someone that he looks at. With Antony, I just struggle with the quality element. That's my issue with him. I think that, yes, he tries hard and he can, he will track back, and I give you that, he will. And he's obviously confident. When he's got the ball, he genuinely thinks he's the best player on the pitch. And I don't mind that. You need a bit of that. You're going to play for Manchester United. You need to believe in yourself. And I think so many players have floundered because they didn't. But I just think there's been too many bad games for me. There's been too many games where he hasn't delivered. And I just think that there's attitude issues there. I just don't think he's good enough, if I'm being brutally honest. And I don't think, with the players we've got available, we need him. I think you've got better options in those wing-back positions. That's why I think when Ruben Amorim looks at it, past maybe, he might have to wait a couple of weeks till Luke Shaw's match fit or till he can rely on someone else, whatever. I don't see it happening. But as I say, with every United player I don't believe in, I'd be happy for him to prove me wrong. I want to see him all doing well. Chels, you think he has a future? Where do you see his future? Do you agree with Joe and Lauren? Think he's one of those wing backs?
So I was having this conversation with someone the other week, and in a way, I mean, not that I feel sorry for him as he gets paid a lot of money, he's a footballer, but in a way I feel sorry for him in a sense that he's kind of tarnished by his price tag, because I think if we didn't pay so much money for him, we didn't pay over the odds, I don't think the pressure on him would be as high as it is, and the how much he gets slated would be as it is. I think at the end of the day, like Lauren said, he's confident. He's a confident player. Like, he does try. He really, really does. And I think maybe this new manager coming in will potentially give him a new sort of chance to show himself and show that he can be a good player for us, because we did spend all that money on him. Obviously with Amorim's kind of different formation of playing as well. I wouldn't say no to seeing him as a wing back, especially I know Luke Shaw and Malacia back in training. Obviously Malacia played a game for the under-21s the other day, didn't they?
Can we count on their fitness though?
Yeah, this is what I mean. This is what I mean. Like the back in training, yeah.
Hold up?
But does that mean that they're going to stay fit? Probably not. I've lost all hope with Luke Shaw, to be honest with you. I saw something on Twitter and it was like if he was a dog he would have been put down by now because he's always injured. And it's just like you can't rely on that fitness. So I think if Antony gets a chance to step up and show Amorim that he can be that player and he can be maybe not even a starter, just a squad player, I think he can do it. And I think he's I don't think it's impossible.
Sometimes you do have to almost hit rock bottom, don't you, to fix up.
Yeah.
And he's been at a point where not getting any minutes in a cup final or not getting barely any minutes under the manager that brought him in at all.
There's not a minute when we're playing games.
It might be, we know he had his issues when he's been asked to play at full back or whatever before, but it might be at the point now he realises, look, if I am going to have a future, I have to fill this role that this new manager who didn't sign me he's asking me to do.
And it's not fullback either.
Yeah.
It's very different.
Yeah.
He's played fullback and he was, like you always say, he was pissed off and he was a knob about it. Chatting to Gabriel Jesus like they were mates above 10 Hag.
Yeah.
But there is a difference between left back and left wing.
Yeah. So that might suit him
so
more.
So maybe he'll be a little bit more like, you know what?
Do you see him on the left or do you see him on the right?
Either.
Yeah.
I think if you want him to do the cut inside kind of job, put him on the right. But if you want him to go past people and cut it and pull the ball back to the sort of penalty spot, play him left wing back.
Because I'm right in thinking Amorim likes a left-footed right wing back, or he likes one of them to be on the natural foot and the other one to be one. Yeah, so
and he played right wing back in that training footage we saw, which is obviously 6 minutes. But
it's mad. I think get involved in the chat in the comments, and I will get to it. A lot of people see this, A lot of people do see it.
Someone texted me about this the other day.
Yeah.
Nathan Ellington. I hope he doesn't mind me sharing that. But he is obviously someone who's played in the Premier League. Football League player, scored hundreds of goals in the Football League. He's a top player, and he says he thinks not that it's going to happen or it's I'm calling it, but just that he could see it. He thinks he's got the right kind of makeup as a player on the ball and off the ball to do it. It's just like we always say, has he got the attitude? Has he got the willingness to do it? But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean it's not Nathan Ellington standards, but me and Finn were talking about it on the kind of review, and he said it could work.
There you go.
Well, this is what I mean.
Our sources.
Under a new manager, then hopefully he gets that chance, because I think Ten Hag was just kind of, even though it was his player and he brought him in, it was like Europa League games, like midweek Europa League games and stuff. He wasn't even giving him a chance, and they wasn't even giving him half an hour in games like that.
Ten Hag was drowning and Antony was a cement block.
It was. We said that. We said if you look at all the list of things that cost Ten Hag his job, that was one of them. It's not his fault, like you say, the price tag, but you can't ignore that.
No,
the fact that he sanctioned that signing. Craig the Unicorn says, I'm not a fan of him, but Antony actually fits the system. I think a lot of people who back this idea say those kind of things. It's very, very split. Antony has a future under Amorim. Agree 49%, disagree 51%. So it's like, it's a...
Closer than Brexit.
I was going to say, it's Brexit tackle, that, innit? It's very, very close. Well, listen, we'll wait and see. I think we might find out sooner rather than later. You know what I mean? And the thing with any player at United, I remember when everyone was hating on Paul Pogba, right? Everyone was fuming with him. Everyone had enough of him. We went to Spurs away. He helped get us a penalty and everyone loved him. Genuinely, it was like that. He came off the bench, won us a penalty, and everyone was like...
Luke Shaw's had 2 or 3 waves of that, by the way.
It will take a good game against Ipswich at wing-back, and everyone will be on board with it. And I know that.
Reactionary in that base of Manchester United.
Like we always mention, Harry Maguire's another one, who was at the lowest of the low that first season. Ten Hag came in, took the captaincy off him, barely played him till Christmas, and then for a lot of last season, people are back to going, is he a decent player? Is he third or fourth choice? He's very good. It's not out, like you say, a handful of good games, and people will be talking about him like he's the best
100%.
wing back in the world.
That's one advantage he's got, and he's got that advantage of there's a chance there. We saw it in training. He's being used in that position. The manager's obviously willing to try him in training. Obviously training, but look, this is what you could do for us. So we'll wait and see.
What we got next?
Amorim.
Oh, actually, the chat's at 51. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Sorry.
Amorim has inherited the best post-Sir Alex Ferguson team. I'll say squad. Should we say squad?
Of all the ones that have been inherited?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, obviously not Moyes.
No, I think, should we ignore the Moyes one? Because Moyes inherited the title, the current reigning champions.
Ignore Moyes.
Even that wasn't a great one, to be honest.
Should we include Moyes then? Are we including that?
Yeah, let's include Moyes.
All right then, fine. Let's include Moyes. As he inherited the best squad, should we say? I think the team's a bit of a, it's difficult. Shall we say squad? No. Do you know what?
Come on.
It's
Split.
It's split for the first time today. Yeah. Joseph, before you jump in anyway, because you usually do, you can explain yourself.
First.
You can explain yourself. Why do you disagree with that?
I'm going to even take David Moyes out of it. Every manager that has taken over from the previous manager, the manager they took over from finished lower down than the one before, pretty much.
Right.
Like, we finished 8th last season. That's the worst we finished in 30 years.
Yeah.
Like, I know that we can blame the manager, and there was loads of injuries, but I don't think the team that Jose had was capable of finishing 8th. What was it, 5th or 6th we finished? 6th?
Under Van Gaal?
Under Jose.
6th.
Oh, sorry, under Jose. We finished 6th, but we won 2 trophies.
I think that 6th
and he gave up, just sorry to do it, he gave up on the league in January.
Yeah,
and I know that. He told us all.
Yeah. I genuinely think
he
that
said,
6th
we're not bothering with that, we're going on the Europa.
As bad as they could have done, pretty much.
Yeah.
And obviously the manager plays a part in that as well, and Jose, I can't see him finishing in the bottom half with anyone. But I just think that I don't want us to think that a team capable of finishing 8th is as good as the one that Van Gaal took over 12 months after we'd won the league, or that Jose took over and bought Paul Pogba and Zlatan Ibrahimovic in his first summer. Like, I think that, I know he didn't inherit those players, but the team that he started with, I do think there have been better ones. Maybe Ole didn't, because that team felt like it was just full of people who hated Man United from top to bottom. So I'd give him a bit of credit.
Well.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's decent. But the fact we finished 8th is just, a squad that's capable of doing that can't be the best that we've had in a decade, surely.
No, I agree, but I'll ask Lauren first what she thinks.
I get what you're saying about 8th, but a lot of these players, quite a few of these players now weren't there.
That was my point there.
And I think on paper, if you actually look at the names of the players we've got in this team, they have someone that can actually bring out the player they actually are, then I think we have a much better squad than any we've had before. If you put down on paper with people, with players on paper, Rashford, Casemiro, De Ligt, like even Harry Maguire, the people we have on paper in our squad is miles better than any before.
Yeah.
If you look at it name for name.
Okay, I'll get into some comments and I'll give you my thoughts, and then over to you, Chelsea. Nomad Joe says arguably the worst team. Jed's dead baby says this squad is better than 8th, and Amorim will prove that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I do agree with that as well, but I just sorry, go on.
Jed's dead baby also says we weren't 8th because we're the 8th best squad. We were 8th because of insane injuries and players being knobs. I think there's a
correct.
The reason I don't think this is the best squad post Alex Ferguson, I always felt with every squad we've had goals in it, and I'm worried about the goals. That's the big negative for me. Our top scorer's got like 2 Premier League goals, whatever it is, or 3 Premier League goals, and we're 11 games in. That's a massive worry for that. And I love Amorim, and I like what I've seen so far in his CV and all the rest of it, but I am concerned how he fixes that short term before we buy anyone at least. And I always think, if you look at every squad post Sir Alex, you've had a Wayne Rooney or a Robin Van Persie or even Lukaku, I wasn't a big fan of, got you goals. Do you know what I mean? You've had Zlatan, you've had someone in there who you can, Ronaldo, or Cavani or someone who you can go, look, he's capable of. And I think at the minute, yes, Marcus Rashford, I love Marcus Rashford on paper, but he's got 1 Premier League goal in 11 games this season. I love Diallo and Garnacho and Højlund, I think, is a decent player, but they're not scoring, and that not regularly anyway. That's the only reason I would disagree on this being the best. I think defensively, Joe, you always make a point of centre-backs. We've got arguably the best group of centre-backs as a collective in the Premier League, and I think you're a good point there. Midfield, Mainu, Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, Christian Eriksen, Ugarte, outstanding.
Yeah.
Goals though, man, you can't ignore that. What do you reckon, Chels? Because obviously you agree that it is the best.
Yes, so my point was sort of similar to Lauren's, is the fact that the names that we have now are the kind of, you look at like players like De Ligt and Casemiro and people like that, and you know that on paper they are some of the best players we've had in a while. And I do agree with the fact that we are missing goals, but I just think, like I said, on paper you've got those top players, and then I think the young players coming through at the minute, I think, are the best we had in a while. Your Amads, your Garnachos, your Mainus, that is thinking ahead to the future. That is something that's really, really promising to see right now. I do agree that we need to get some more goals in the team. Obviously, you know, it's all well and good being defensively decent in midfield, but if you're not scoring, you're not gonna win games because you need to score goals. I was going to say I sounded like Michael over here.
Well, you have to score more than the opposition.
You have to score to win a game.
That's, factual.
But I think maybe not as a team, and maybe not like still don't think they're fully gelled together, all the players that have been signed. But I think as a squad and as individuals, if Amorim can get them working together and really gelling, and if we can get some goals in the team somehow, I do think this team probably is arguably better than what other managers have inherited. But that's just my opinion.
It is mad that when you look at a lot of the squads we've had, there's been some absolutely amazing players in these squads that you look at and you go, you know, you've had a Juan Mata who was a player, got, was it 33 assists in a season, and was Chelsea's player of the year back to back. You've had Champions League winners, you've had, you know, some of the goals.
Jose have had.
Yeah, like you look at it, you go,
Zlatan,
wow,
Herrera,
like
Matic.
Do you remember when Ollie came in and he just went, right, this is, you know, everyone's happy now, and we just started battering everyone for a little bit, because it's just like, actually look at player for player. We're men. It is crazy sort of how it's all sort of panned out. Someone said, I think it was Jed's Dead Baby, says, Jay, compare this squad to the squad Fergie took over in 1986. It was, this
is better than that.
Yeah, well, yeah, the squad in 1986 was half cut all the time for starters.
Not that I know every name of that squad.
No, but you had Peter Davenport and Terry Gibson with your strikers, and you know they made this lot look prolific. No, right. I know we have to sort of hurry up with this, so I'll do two more. Sorry. Oh, sorry, I didn't do the poll. Yeah, good point there, producer Ethan. And also, hit the like button, please, people. There's 1,000 people watching. We haven't even got to 200 likes. Smash a like. Amorim has inherited the best post-Sir Alex Ferguson squad. Agree, 62%. Wow. Disagree, 38%.
I'm surprised it's that high.
Yeah, I think it's weird because, like you, when you were listing those players, you're thinking De Ligt,
I didn't
Casemiro.
even list Bruno though.
I know. If I was to sit and go Patrice Evans, Nemanja Vidic, Rio Ferdinand, Wayne Rooney, Robin van Persie, you just go, oh wow.
Right, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it's also the context, isn't it? Because some of those players they're still good, but
they just won the league.
I know, man. I have to, Moyes for me, and even post Moyes, I think there's a couple. I think there's a couple there that are better. Right, we'll do two more. Right, United will be top 5 by Christmas.
By Christmas.
Ooh.
So you got a month.
You know
and
what?
a bit.
I actually do think that. Yeah.
I mean, we're not that far. Just to give you guys a bit of a heads up, and the people
so much closer
playing at home.
Yeah,
it is weird because we are 13th, whatever it is. My computer's just stopped working.
We are 13th, yeah.
We are 13th, and we are. Can someone tell me?
4 points off third.
Thank you. Sorry, my computer just stopped. So it's not, even though we're 13th.
Have you got 1,000 tabs on Google Chrome open?
That's between me and my internet provider.
Jay loves a tab.
I do love a tab. I drive everyone mad.
Top 5 by Christmas. When's Christmas?
Top 5 by Christmas. Who have we got between now and Christmas?
Yeah, I need
December.
to know.
Last time I checked.
Who have we got, Jay, between now and Christmas?
On the fixture list.
Yeah. Ipswich away. That's all I know.
I do think we're going to be top 5 anyway.
That'll help my decision.
So we've got Ipswich in the league, obviously. I'll just focus on the league. We've got Ipswich, Everton, Arsenal, Forest, and City away, and Bournemouth at home.
Yeah, we'll be top 5. We're going to be top 5. Yeah.
I actually think we'll be top. Even though it's mathematically impossible, we'll make it happen. Right, so we all agreed except Chelsea. I'll come to you in a minute, Chelsea. I'll start with you. Why are you so confident?
Well, it's always that. You say it every time the new manager bounce. Every player will be wanting to prove something. Everyone will be up for it. We've got some games there which you would say we're getting the points. Everton.
Forest,
Bournemouth, Ipswich. Yeah, I mean, we'll probably be the ones that get done by Ipswich or something. Kieran McKenna, but no, I think like mathematically, it's not actually that hard because it is quite close at the top. So I think if we have that good energy and the confidence with the new manager, and we do start gelling, there's no reason why we can't get top 5.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah, I do think we will get top 5, But I think this whole thing of we're 4 points off third, there's also 9 teams between us and third saying the same thing.
Yeah.
And they've got 4 or fewer points between them and third. Like, it's not even the the points that's the word for me, it's how many teams we have to go past. Because we have to have a better time between now and Christmas than 8 teams to get to 5th. So, like, that's really the question for me. Will we have a better 6 weeks than Brentford, Bournemouth, Forest, Chelsea, Tottenham? Like, that's really the question. It's not, can we, 5 points or whatever. It's, can we actually have a better 6 weeks? Because also my worry is, what if we've used our new manager bounce on Van Nistelrooy? What if we've already used it all?
Great point.
We're bounced, and now we're on the new manager sort of landing. Because the trampoline has been pulled out from underneath us. And there ain't
this is post-Paris under Ole.
Do you know what I mean?
Where everything, the wheels just came off.
I don't
we
think
give him a contract and everything went wrong.
But like I said, I do agree that we will be top 5. But I think this whole thing of like, third's a possibility. There's 9 teams between us and third who are saying the same thing. And I don't think we're going to have a better full end of the season. I hope we will have a little bounce, and I think that'll push us up into those places. But yeah, this whole top 4, I think you have to do really well to get top 4. But I think we'll have a little push to start with that'll get us into top 5.
Get involved in the chat in the comments, get voting as well. Pavel Kaduk says, we are delusional, and I love it.
Great.
Nomad Joe says, want to see Amorim's first match before thinking about that. Don't worry about that.
You can't not think about it. It's football.
How do you manage that? Mate, I love to be able to do that. I was shouting to anyone who's coming as soon as I realised he'd been appointed. And
you did it even before that. You did it as we were 3-0 down to Liverpool, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's when you were certain.
Funnily enough, no one joined in that chat with me.
It was weird that one.
Stretford. Yeah, I just got some funny looks and told to shut up. Yeah.
So someone getting kicked out actually.
Yeah, that was. Come on, lads, join in. Chelsea. You disagreed?
Yeah, I don't want to be a negative Nancy. I don't want to be a negative Nancy. I like being delusionally excited about things. But I'm just thinking, right, so I mean, we don't know how quick it's going to take for Amorim to settle in, to gel with the players.
Did you not see the 32 seconds of training ground footage?
Well,
That proves to me that he's cracked it.
We wouldn't know. No, but like you said, there's plenty of teams between us and third and that top 4 or 5 that also think, there's only a few points, we can do it. And I just think as well, what do I think? Mine's just gone completely blank.
There's lots of teams between us.
I've got so much going on in my head right now.
There's we've not been playing great. There's goals that we've got to start scoring. There's other factors going on.
What was I going to say? Oh my God, I had a really good point and everything it's just gone.
That's the story of my life, I've always got really good points that I forget to make.
Basically. Basically, I'd love to, but I just... with this, I've got it. There we go. Got it. It's come back to me.
We'll edit this bit out of the live bit.
No, so my thing was, so I was thinking about this the other day. So we aren't in a good position in the table, and I know, there's not many points between us and the top 4, but the points that we have dropped have been against teams that on paper we should be beating. We've got City and Arsenal away to play in December, and I just feel like
that's where we win them.
And I just feel like we've got some hard games to prove ourselves in, and especially with a new manager who may not have settled yet. I just think it's hard to be 100% confident that I think we will be in the top 5. But then again, I do hope we do, and I hope we start really well. But
on that point, and I will say this because some people may go, "Oh, we should be beating teams like what?" Like Liverpool and like Spurs. Yes, at Old Trafford we should.
We should, yeah.
I 100% believe we should be beating everyone at Old Trafford. And let's not forget, it wasn't that long ago that we were.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
All the top 6 at Old Trafford.
Yeah, and I always believe that. I agree with your point. The voting, has everyone made that?
Yeah, I've just got another quick point though. There's teams above us as well that are going to start dropping off. They're not your typical teams that are in that top.
Forest
have already lost the last game, haven't they? I mean, I know it's not a great...
You've got teams up there that will start dropping off eventually, and I think this is probably the time now where they will start going down because they're not used to being up there.
I know this is going to be a bit controversial. I can't see Villa keeping this up forever.
And in the Champions League as well.
I like Villa. Emery's done an amazing job. He's kept them up higher than I thought he would for longer than he would. But they're not just like
they've won one of the last 5 in the Premier League. So that's not lost back-to-back games. They lost 4-1 away at Spurs and 2-0 against Liverpool. I think there was a way. So
he couldn't even beat us.
I don't know, that says it. He had a bad record against
Ten Hag beat him home and away last season.
Yeah. So a bit of a weird one.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I like him, but I just don't see it. So.
Another point as well, Pep has lost 4 in a row, so we might be above City, you never know.
Thank God he's signing a new contract if he keeps losing.
Please.
So agree with United will be top 5 by Christmas is 69% and disagree is 31%.
So negative.
One final question.
Here we go.
Let's go.
Amorim,
About bloody time.
Ruben Amorim will win more at United than Arne Slot will win at Liverpool.
Love it. This is what it's all about,
What
Jay.
we came here for.
This is what it's for.
Here we
He
go.
will win more at United than
More.
Slot will at Liverpool. Interesting. Well, actually, yeah, go on then. I do think he will.
It's a landslide. Do you know what? You could have changed Slot at Liverpool for Pep at City and I'd have put agree. Yeah? Why not?
Yeah.
Let's just go full in.
Two-footed. And you would have been agreed.
Ancelotti. I'm going full. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm going full turbo. Let's have it. Joe, you agree, Will.
Yeah.
Listen, Arne Slot, let's just, for a split second before we get into it, let's be a little bit more rational. He's inherited a very, very good team. Yes, some of them are aging a little bit, but they have got real world-class quality there. In Mo Salah, they've got one of the Premier League all-time greatest attackers.
Yeah.
Van Dijk, one of the best defenders. They're obviously flying. He's coming. He's not had to change much. They haven't signed anyone. He can probably make some signings in January. I think they'll be well within their capabilities to buy players as well. So we know he's got that big advantage of inheriting a strong, successful team that Ruben Amorim hasn't got, and that's the reason they're sat at the top of the table in a minute. But Joe, you're not too, or you still feel that Ruben Amorim eventually will prevail.
Yeah, I think they've won bigger trophies and they've won the league and the Champions League, and I'm not doubting that Klopp's had a better 9 years than United have had. Yeah. But he's not won many more trophies than we have. So he's won bigger things, but he's not won more things. And I think 5 of his 9 years were trophyless at Liverpool. So it's not as though they were just bashing trophies down every single season. And United have got back in the groove a little bit with that, and maybe that leaves with Ten Hag. We'll have to wait and see. But I think that we're on an upward trajectory now. Yeah. And I think that Liverpool are probably doing what they were doing, or we'll have to wait and see, will they have a bit of blip and where will they go from there. But United are a sort of bigger machine than Liverpool is. And once it gets turned back on and things start rolling, I see United being able to ascend up the league quicker than any other team could possibly do it. We make more money, we've got more fans, we're a bigger club. I know Liverpool have won a lot of trophies in their history as well, like United have, but we're a bigger thing than they are. And for once, if the momentum is going in our direction rather than us having to sail into the wind all the time, I think United could fly in the next 5 years with the new owners, new manager, a bit of a different way of doing things, and just coming up to the 21st century. I think United will be able to really step on now, and I don't know if Liverpool will be able to sustain what they were doing under Klopp, under Slot, and the average lifespan of a manager isn't that long, and it usually isn't easy to replace a sort of club legend like Klopp was. So I think there will be blips there, and I think United will be able to sort of exploit that basically.
Chels, you obviously agree. You think Ruben Amorim is going to be...
This is where the delusion creeps back in.
Well, why not? If you can't be... Someone just said it. If you can't be delusional, Miles says, if you can't be delusional before he's managed the game, when can we be?
Well, exactly, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, and I'm not going to say it's like Liverpool have started the season really well, and in my opinion, probably will win it this year, I think. That's just an early prediction. However, I don't think there's anything saying that Slot will do better than Amorim, or even vice versa. I think it's very early days for both teams. Amorim's inherited a team that's not particularly playing well at the minute, but it is full of good individual players who, once gelled together and once maybe playing under his system, may become a force to be reckoned with. And like Joe said, hopefully steamrolling the league, and because we are a club that can do that. Obviously, Liverpool have got a lot of very, very good world-class players, but again, they are aging. There's even been talk about Salah going to Saudi, and once players got older and they get that sort of enticement with the money to go to places like Saudi, that's when obviously Liverpool are going to have to replace those players, and what's saying that they're ever going to get players back who have that same impact as Salah and Van Dijk, for example. So, I mean, obviously it's hard to say right now with not even seeing him manage a game for us, but, I mean, why not? You know, I mean, I don't want to get too excited, but Amorim is the next Sir Alex.
Right, well there you go. It's about time someone said it, and I think from those 32 seconds we saw on training ground, I think you can tell you absolutely right.
All off that.
David, I don't know why I said it like David De Gea. David says completely agree with Joe. Also, Abnam Verma in the super chat, who's been a member of the academy for 43 months, says Joe just said we can do things in the transfer market that no one can, in a different tone. You agree that Ruben Amorim is going to be better than Slot or achieve more at United than Slot will at Liverpool? Why?
I actually think that Liverpool look a better team under Slot than they did under Klopp, personally. But if you look at, he's inherited a team from Klopp who didn't really live up to the hype that they do go on about Klopp, like they call him this club legend, but what did he didn't win that much in the 9 years. So what's to say that Slot's going to come in with that same team and do any different? If it was meant to be the best they've ever had, whereas Amorim's got this team that aren't really working together, aren't playing well, so he can do everything in his power to make them the best team, whereas Liverpool think they're already right.
He can mould that team into his team. What
whereas
he wants.
Slot is just working with what he had, and they didn't actually do as much as you think.
Yeah,
if
one
you
league
listen
title
to
in 9
people,
years isn't quite as emphatic as it felt like.
And it was
because you had like his fans crying when he left.
It's
and
the 3
everything.
Champions League finals that lifts it. I think.
And also the second place finish to win was in 97 points and not win. Like, it's a ridiculous tally, and I don't think we can, anyone can argue that. It's interesting. I mean, a lot of it is just my heart. We don't know.
Definitely.
And there is an element, I agree with what you're saying. You both said about like what's going to happen with Mo Salah.
That's massive.
Yeah,
if he stays and he does a Ronaldo and he plays till he's 38 and he's, then there's every chance Liverpool could have a little bit of a dominant period. I also, and I don't watch a lot of Liverpool Academy, I don't even watch a lot of United Academy, but I sort of keep track of it. United have a very, very tight set of youngsters. So if we were to stick with I know it's a massive if, because most managers last about 2-3 years, but if we were to stick with Ruben Amorim for a length of time, where you did see some of these players that everyone is raving about coming to the first team, and it was something that there's a little bit of a buzz that's going on at the minute. That might be something there where long term Manchester United could be on this upward trajectory with the new ownership, with a new young manager, with some of the good young players we've already got, the likes of Kobbie Mainoo and Garnacho and one or two others. Then who knows? But listen, it's a good one to chat about, but no one fucking knows.
The Salah Van Dijk thing, and even Arnold, who's linked with Real Madrid every 2 seconds, and he's playing it. I think he'll probably sign on, but eventually, you've got to replace Salah. And Salah is a guaranteed 35 goals and assists a season. Usually 40 goals and assists.
He's annoyingly good, isn't he?
He's one of them players you're never going to replace straight away. It's impossible.
You might never replace him. He's probably the best player they've ever had in that position.
Yeah.
And that's saying something with some of the great players that Liverpool have won as much as United in their history. Like, they're obviously a great team, but he's probably in their all-time 11. And replacing that is so hard. Think of all the other players that have been in Liverpool's team since Salah got there. None of them have been anywhere near as good as him. Like, and Mane is the closest they've got, and even he was, 23, 24 goals a season. Salah got 40 one season. Yeah. And he gets 28, 29, 30 every single year. When he goes, if they get another Gakpo to replace him, or even a Luis Diaz who's doing all right this season but averages about 6 goals a year, they drop 20 points a season. It's absolutely massive what he brings to them. And Van Dijk's another one. If you replace Van Dijk with, one of the players they've had in recent years, like Joel Matip, that's 30% worse. Not as a team, but as a player. I really do think how they replace those players, and Alexander-Arnold, if he leaves, if you replace him with someone else, then you could easily find yourself 10, 15, 20 points down every single season until you find that, Salah replacement. Look at United. We've been trying to replace our top players for a decade and we can't do it.
It seems to have worked for him so far under Slot, of having this lack of chaos and emotion that came with Klopp. Because Klopp was very good at tapping into his emotion, but it works both ways, because Liverpool's peaks and troughs were unreal. Yeah. There were seasons where they had record amount of points. Then the following season they'd lose 5 at home on the spin and only get into the Champions League when the goalkeeper was scoring a last minute winner against West Brom or whatever it was. And you're like, how have you gone from here to there with the same group of players almost? It was very emotional. We saw it last season when I know he announced he was leaving, so it was different, but sometimes you don't need all that. You need a bit more. And they've got that at a minute, but I don't know how long that's going to last for, is my point. I don't know if that keeps them going for the next 2 or 3 years, or if it's just this season where you've still got a very good team, you've not got all this sort of, I don't know, excitableness rather than just being excited. And I think that it's working now. Is it going to work a long time? We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But the people in the chat know. They know emphatically.
What do they know?
Amorim will win more trophies than Slot at their respective clubs. And when we say trophies, we don't mean we're going to win like 8 League Cups and he'll win 4 Champions Leagues.
I'll take that.
That's a loophole.
8's bigger than 4.
Yeah. All right. Well, if that happens, then we'll argue that we've been more successful. Who's won the most trophies? We have.
We haven't.
Agree 85%. Disagree, and this is obviously Liverpool fans getting involved in our chat. 15%. I love the fact that they're top of the league.
Come on, lads.
And we've not even. Amorim's not even
we're top of the league, and we're shit. And we all think we're going to win more than them.
Almost 9%.
What are we on about?
Yeah,
I love it.
Like, honestly, this is my favourite.
Absolutely crap.
This is my
worst we've been in our lives.
It's my favourite part of being a United fan.
Come on!
We're going to do it. We're going to do it.
I love it.
Enjoy these moments because this time next week, that is the exact opposite way around. By the way, when we've lost 2-0 to Ipswich and Liverpool are 12 points. It doesn't even need a loss. It
just needs a draw. And 1-1 will do you. That'll be like in the other. Yeah, it'll be horrible. But this is my favourite time being
relishing it right now.
What's the point if you can't get excited and you can't be optimistic about it? You need
when
to
a new manager comes in, then you can get deluded.
We're winning it all.
Until you get beat at home at Brighton or lose 4-0 away at Brentford, and then you have to get, hang on a minute, maybe this might not
let's sign Antony for 90 million.
Yeah, there you go. That'll fix everything.
Sorted.
VSG1 says 4 of my favourites together. Absolutely loving the stream. It's 1:30 a.m. here in India, and I'm not going to sleep until the stream ends. Well,
look at you.
Let him go to bed, Jay.
Do you want him? All right then. Thanks for getting involved in the chat and the comments. Thanks to everyone who got involved. Lauren, thank you. Make sure you go and check out Lauren on your socials. Chels again as well. Thank you. Joseph, good to see you. We'll be back later on with Paddock live, won't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah, look forward to that one. Is it 9:30 tonight?
Probably.
Yeah, so make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. That's been Joe Smith, that's been Chels, that's been Lauren, I've been Jay. This has been Agree or Disagree. Thanks for watching.